up, though, people? What's the
What's
word,
up?
man? How y'all feeling today? I know it's a
Yeah.
little different. We virtual with it today, but welcome to Cousins, man. Welcome to Cousins the podcast, episode 3, man. Episode we made it to episode 3, cuz we made it to episode 3. That's all I can say. We here, okay? We here today, and we got some good topics to hit today. We got some great topics. We're gonna be talking about generational differences in the hustle culture. That's my favorite one of the day. That's why we starting off with it. Y'all gonna notice it's a trend. We always start off with the favorites. It's the first conversation we have. And then the role of faith and spirituality in business decisions. And then we're gonna wrap that up with money mindset, shifting from employee to employer. Oh, they not ready.
Ain't
I had to take my headphones out for this one, baby. I had to take the headphones out for this one, but let's go ahead and jump right into this.
Yes.
Um, listen, this is that one, but let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna let you start off this show, because you came up with these topics, so I'm very, very interested in hearing how you feeling about it.
Well, I would say for starters, when it comes to like the differences in hustle culture, growing up for me, my mother and father, they, work, they are still working people, but they weren't necessarily they were like the everyday people, the everyday working people. So, for example, like my dad, he worked at a dealership, and then my mom, she worked for the city at one point, and they were really hard workers because they worked there for years. I would say, growing up, I really didn't see a lot of entrepreneurs. Now, once I got older in middle school, my dad, he started to chase his dream a little bit about like owning a dealership, and I seen a little bit of that, but it didn't unfortunately come to fruition for whatever reasons or technicalities or whatever was happening. But I will say that just seeing the little bit about my dad, like chasing a dream of being like a dealership owner, I was excited for him. I was like, "Ooh, that's so cool." But when it came to anybody else, I didn't see it. So as I got older, I didn't think about entrepreneurship growing up. I will say that I wanted to become an entrepreneur after I got demoted in my corporate job.
Ooh,
Yes.
talk about it. Talk about it.
That was an experience for me. I was actually dating somebody at the time, and he had more of an entrepreneurial spirit. So, like, he was like, you should start your own stuff. You got a lot of talent, blah, 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 blah. And so he was really pushing me to have my own, but I wasn't really interested in it because I didn't know exactly what that path looked like. And so I will say that after I got demoted, I didn't like the feeling of them being able to snatch the rug from under my feet like that, and then my
Mm.
finances change immediately. Like it was, but the thing about it is, I had started my first company, which was calligraphy, and I didn't know exactly what it would look like. I hadn't ever seen entrepreneurship like in real time. And I learned a lot. I stepped out on faith with it. I was still in corporate, but I had this side hustle. And when I made my first dollar as an entrepreneur, that really shifted my mindset. But I will say that when it comes to like the hustle culture, like before, I just saw my parents working, right? I didn't see them working and doing a side hustle, as kind of like what I did for a long time. And so, I really feel like they didn't necessarily like tell me like, oh no, you should only focus on your corporate job. But I wasn't also able to really have the conversations with them about being an entrepreneur. So the
Makes sense.
conversation was limited from a professional standpoint. I
That
really,
makes sense.
yeah, I had to seek outside guidance to kind of understand how people were at least trying to find balance. But really, they like, hey, you got a good job, you got a good thing going, you better stay there, you better, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of all I got, and I'm just like, yeah, I really don't want to just be there my entire life. Like I want more, and again, just never seeing it in real time. So it was definitely challenging for me. So what about
Understandable, definitely understandable, and I think that's for both of us not seeing entrepreneur. Like, my mom did hair, so like I
you?
guess I seen entrepreneurship, but not like in real. Like, not to say what she did was fake, but you get what I'm saying as far as like the business side of it. You get what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm,
Um, it's definitely not something that was readily available to me to learn or to learn. Like, no, I didn't have nobody to really learn from until I became an adult, honestly.
mhm.
Nobody in our family that I know of was an entrepreneur. We always had 9 to 5ers that held good jobs for me, like, okay, Nikki will tell you the story that, I used to ask her for $1, go get candy, and then turn that dollar into a couple of dollars. So for
Who is Nick?
me, my sister, my oldest sister. So for me, I knew at a young age that I love making fast money. You get what I'm saying? You don't look at it as fast money then, but that's essentially what it was. And so I fell in love with that at a young age. And so when I got my first job at 15, and I got my first check, and I'm looking at the check, and I'm looking at the time I'm gonna spend at the job, and I'm looking at the check, and I'm like,
Look, them taxes hit
what's
different. Like,
going on?
what is all this Social Security? What's
Okay,
all
I said Social Security in the stove for me.
this?
Cause
Okay,
that
but
was
let me
me.
ask you this, because with your mom, right? Like you said, you grew up with your mom doing hair. Was it that you didn't know the word entrepreneur because you seen it, but did you really know the
Okay,
term?
I did not really know the word entrepreneurship. Yes. But even now that I know the word entrepreneurship, I
Mm.
wouldn't call that entrepreneurship. And
Doing
I
hair?
think I would call that a side hustle, a hobby. Because what people don't realize is a hobby and entrepreneurship is two different things.
Yeah, but why? Oh, okay.
When you don't have the business part of it, it's not a business. It's just,
I mean,
if
it's not
you
a
okay,
legal
listen, if you do
documented,
puzzles for a
but
hobby,
exchanging. She
and
was doing it for her,
every now and then
right?
your friends be like, I want to buy that puzzle from you. It just look like nice art. That's
Mhm,
not you being an entrepreneur. That's not you starting a business. That's you
mhm,
doing something,
mhm.
and essentially sometimes you make money from it.
Okay, so you're not saying she had a full. From what I remember, she didn't have like a full clientele of people coming to get
She
their hair.
did, but you got to remember she worked for Bo Rick. So I'm just talking about the part for her, like her actual business, for lack of words. You get what I'm saying? I'm not talking about like
Mhm,
her clientele from her going to work every day, and she actually worked in
mhm,
salons. So like, yes, she had a clientele, but I'm talking about what I seen at home. You get what I'm saying?
mhm.
Um,
Interesting. Because in my mind, that's a business. Like,
I know
if
you want to believe that, but
somebody is doing hair and it's more and she's getting paid, and Bo Ricks is a salon, right?
mhm.
So she was doing hair there. Like they literally have to, if they don't hunt, they don't eat. So how is that not a business?
But was the number one salon for a long time. So it wasn't no hunt to eat. It's everybody going to Bo Ricks to get their hair done, period. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
it's I get where you're going with it. And again, I'm not trying to shade
Yeah,
my mama
that's
because
yeah.
I am who I am today because of
Yeah,
my
yeah,
mama. So I'm
yeah.
not shading my mama by no means. That's it. I'm just talking
No,
about
we ain't say
entrepreneurship
Auntie now. No.
on this level where I am at today.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen that before. So I had a lot of learning curves and a lot of mistakes that was made because nobody told me about doing the books and hiring employees and inventory and budgets, and what I'm saying, like,
I get.
those are the things I'm talking about in entrepreneurship
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of um our older generation lacked, which is why when I look back on, I just say, I think a lot of the time what we thought was entrepreneurship was like a side hustle. And there's no shade on them because they
Mhm.
didn't know no better. Because before that, you got to think about it. Our grandparents was basically coming out of the fields for the most part. You can like Ruby Bridges happened in what, the 50s or the 60s or something like that, or like not too that long ago. You get what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like this is all still new to us because
Mhm.
nobody taught us how to be entrepreneurs. You get what I'm saying? Nobody taught my mama how to be an entrepreneur. Nobody taught her mama how to be an entrepreneur. We just was taught find something you good at, get some money from it. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And so,
Definitely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, you good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I definitely didn't see it to your point to that level as well. I think they were still like we still learn the grit and the grind from watching our parents do the thing.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like my mama worked and went to school, so and it's interesting because I also lived that as well, where I had a full time job and I was going to school half time. So like some of those behaviors that I saw growing up, I absolutely you know,
Equate that to what you
full
seen.
circle for me, right? So it was like I did learn that, but also bits and pieces of seeing my dad pursue his dream and about like wanting to have a dealership and you know just dreaming big about that. Like I will say I thought that was dope because I hadn't really seen anybody chase their dream. What I didn't really see a lot of was the execution piece. And I think also we never really had conversations about entrepreneurship in general. I mean, as a family or with friends or anything like that, it wasn't really nobody pushing that on us. It was just kind of like go to work, make sure you have a
Go
good
to college, get a good degree.
job, like all of those things. And so, but now I really do feel like most people, at least in our generation, are pushing the younger generations to think about things outside of the typical or traditional workforce. Like for example, I can say when I was a calligrapher, I used to have workshops. And so what I did was with one of my close cousins, I would take her with me. You know what I'm saying? I would take S with me, like, hey, you rolling with me, you gonna help me pass out these papers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that she could see it. I think just allowing her to have more exposure outside of the 9 to 5 was really important for me because I have tried to really make it my mission, at least for the people that I'm really close to expose them to things that I felt I should have been exposed to that could really help make a difference.
Right.
So I do think that today's like the younger generation today that's in their early 20s, sorry, that's in their early 20s, I do feel like they are more empowered and they're thinking more about making money on their own rather than depending on the typical workforce,
Which is a blessing and a curse because now it's
yeah,
hard
yeah.
to find workers because everybody in they I'm gonna get my own bag mindset. But I will say this for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's definitely important to teach. Not it's not even about teaching entrepreneurship to my nieces and nephews.
Mm-hmm.
It's about teaching independence and teaching whatever you decide to do, whether you be a 9 to 5 or entrepreneur, do it in excellence. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? If you want to go be the CEO, go be the CEO, but do it in excellence.
Mm-hmm.
If you, I'm not about to say if you want to go be the bad boy because we're not having none of that. But you get what I'm saying though. So it's not necessarily about entrepreneurship. It's more like I just want them to understand that life happens fast, and you 18 now, and then you 33 before you know it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm going through right now. Essentially, like you think you have time and you really don't. And so feel like entrepreneurship makes you grow up a little bit faster in a sense.
Mm.
Whereas, especially when you start young, like some of these kids, they get in the bag young. They're not going to have the same experience as the college kid who went off to college and did the college
Mm-hmm.
experience. You get what I'm saying? Like them nights where college kids is cramming, business people is getting, it's all the same. It's still exerting effort, hustle, brain energy, but it's just two different
Yeah.
way two different views. You get what I'm saying? You know
Mm-hmm.
the saying where he's like, I can't remember the exact saying, but essentially it's basically saying, you can be educated and still be dumb. I'm saying that to say people when people go off to college, There's a set plan. You get what I'm saying? And that's what people think college people are dumb because they book smart, but they not. They don't have everything else. You get what I'm saying? They might be really good at their job, but not good at everything else. And this is not
Like
every person that goes off to
everything like
college.
what, like street smart or
Yes,
something
yes,
else?
yeah. Street smart and just have sense, like common sense. You get what I'm saying? Because they have crammed in the book, they read, they followed the reading to the T. You know what I'm saying? Like they just know what they know from what they learned. Whereas an entrepreneur, you got to be street smart, you got to be book smart, you got to have common sense. It's just those things you don't have the leisure of not having. Whereas there
Mm.
are some things that incorporate, you don't have to have street smarts because you're in essentially in the office all day. So there's no.
Uh, let me, can I respond? Who said this? They said the street corporate is the streets. They're worse than the streets. They are cut
Okay, it is.
in a
It
business,
is.
but you got to know you gotta have street smart for real in corporate if you
But
really.
it's a different type of street smart because you know it is. Like you
I'm
know it's a
gonna
different
say
type of
that
street smart.
my street smarts was, it allowed me the ability of knowing when somebody playing in my face.
That part. That
So
part.
I do think you need a little bit of street smart when you in corporate because they just
Well, I don't
handle.
mean on that level. I'm talking about as far as having to go get it out the mud. We don't have.
Mm.
Y'all got HR. Y'all got. You know what I'm saying. Y'all have those essential
No, I
things.
ain't got no.
Well, you know what I'm.
Nah,
You the
what
court.
you
You know
saying?
you just left the corporate world, right? Like this is not that far removed.
You said y'all though, and we ain't y'all.
Well, if the shoe fit, wear it. Uh,
Well, I wear an
but
8, but
she
this
said,
how
"Girl, I
you
wear a
do.
size 7. That shoe was size 9. I don't know what you talking about."
Okay?
But
Corporate,
essentially, what
not
I'm
y'all.
saying is,
Corporate.
it's just two different worlds. You get what I'm saying? It's two
That's
different worlds.
absolutely
It's two different ways. How you approach the corporate world and how you approach entrepreneurship is totally different.
mm,
And I would say this because I'm an entrepreneur that is now in the corporate world and deal with corporate people. I have a newfound love for entrepreneurs because
mm,
boy,
yeah.
that corporate world
So,
is something. I don't even know why people ever push go to work, go to like it's just
well,
like
I will say there are so many benefits of being in corporate. Like I like,
yeah,
granted,
like good health insurance.
my journey, that part. But I will also say, because and I'll talk a little bit about this later, but my thing is there are a lot of benefits when it comes to corporate. I'm talking about just the networking that can take place in corporate because they are some very, especially if you're at a very big company, there are some very intelligent and talented people that you should connect with, but it really depends on your intention and what actions you're taking when you're in that network or when you're with that employer. Because I will say corporate has so many different benefits. Like, it could be if you have good team culture, you could take trips, you know what I'm saying? The networking abilities. If you take advantage of that, of course, the health insurance, that's number one, number two, number three, four, five. But the health
7,
insurance,
8, 9, 10.
I think too, like, and it's wild because I had to like really, I'm shifting my mindset still because I'm still in that transition period. But even people think that corporate is job security, but it really ain't. You know what I'm saying? They could let you go the next day just as well as somebody, you can have no more clients.
It got tricky
So
because now they know how to get around stuff so
there
that
is,
you can't go back and sue them and stuff. Like they done got super smart with it. It's like, I can't fire her for getting on my nerves, but last week she was late twice, so I'm gonna use that against her and get her off
listen, there is
my okay.
no true job security in corporate, but I will say, like, I feel like there are a lot more benefits. I can honestly say that, and I always push people for this, especially if they are in corporate. Make sure every coin has been turned. Understand what the benefits are of being with that company and actually use them, whether it's paying for your school. You know what I'm saying? Paying for your school, helping you get a house, being able to join networking events, or any kind of professional development stipends you can get, like all of those things you really should take advantage of. So like, I'm not against corporate at all. I think just when you have reached a point or reached a ceiling of, wanting to have a more stronger sense of freedom and not feeling like you're caged in, I think that is where entrepreneurship is, like, that's where the beauty of entrepreneurship lies. But I do want to ask you too about, like, just the I guess, like, the generational differences in hustle culture. What do you think are the differences between what was hustle for the generation before us versus what our definition of hustle is?
Even though we still going through the whole racism thing and all of that stuff, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the difference is we have more resources than our parents and their parents had. That's just what it boils down to, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
We have more resources. We have more people that look like us in higher positions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because of that, we're able to create more opportunities, and better opportunities than what our parents had, because they could have had all the hustle in the world, but it's just some things they were never going to be able to
Yeah.
accomplish because of the times they were living in. Opposed, and it's going to be some things that I'll never get to accomplish because the world we live in today. I mean, Trump is our president. Stop playing. However, my nieces might be able to accomplish those things that I wasn't able to accomplish, and I think it's just going to be like that, just as over time, like, because we get better every day. I think that it's always going to be a generational difference
Absolutely.
in hustle culture. And but I will say this, I see a lot more older people getting into business for themselves now than I ever did 10 years ago when I first started my company. um
Mm,
like,
I love
I
that.
see a lot of more people coming out of corporate and saying, "Hey, I've done 30 years here. It's time to try something new. It's time to go after my dreams." I will say that 40 to 55 range is definitely getting to it. Like, even on social media, when you look at social media, it's not just young people anymore. Those older people, they getting out here, they being vulnerable, they putting themselves on camera, they learning how to use their phones. 10 years ago, I
Yeah.
used to have to literally accept orders via Facebook and stuff because older people is my niche. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it they love me because I can relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have to, like, get on the phone and talk them through sending an email. Like, things that we deem simple,
Yeah.
that was never so simple for them. Whereas now I would get customers that's 55, 60. They could tell me more about technology than I could tell them. You get what I'm saying? So
I love
I
that.
will say
Yes.
that that gap is definitely closing. And because our generation understands the importance of technology and things of that nature, I think that the gap won't be so big for that next generation. Although, like, even with AI, we were just talking about this. I can't work AI to save my life. I be trying. I don't got the mental capacity. And I just be like, you know what? Let me find me a young person that's gonna do what they do and make it do what it do.
Don't be the auntie that you
Don't
was
be the
probably
auntie.
talking ish
Don't be
about.
the auntie. Okay, I am.
Don't
I'm
be an
sorry.
auntie that we
I
talked ish.
understand it now as I get older why
Yeah.
some stuff you just be like, you know what, I'm gonna leave that to the young folk. Okay. You get to that age, you be like, I could just pay somebody to do that. I 100% understand it, but at the same time, I'm never going to let the gap get so big where I'm like, I can't, you know, because at the end of the day, I still have to employ these young people who
Mhm.
are doing the job. So I have to have some type of understanding of it. You get what I'm saying? And I think that the generation before us just didn't have a lot of understanding because nobody was there to really teach
Yeah.
them and guide them. And we're just blessed enough to be able to have those things. So um
Oh Lord, have mercy. Oh Lord, it's good.
So good.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a 10.
That's a 10. Okay.
Good flavor.
They're $5.
Yeah, awesome job.
Still good.
Still good.
Welcome back, people. We back. Listen, that first segment was good. The second segment, I know we're not gonna spend a lot of time on because we don't want to offend nobody or nothing like that. And everybody religion is a little bit different, so everybody gonna have different opinions. But the role of faith and spirituality in business decisions. I'm just go ahead and kick us off because every decision I make is based upon how I was raised, how I grew up in the church, the whole nine. I think that my business prospered from it because growing up in the church and being a preacher's kid, I did not really. I never posted cussing or really. You're not gonna see me really post alcohol like that. You're never gonna see me post me. You know, I know y'all want to think it's because I'm a good business owner. It's not. It's because
What
my
the?
mother's a preacher. I'm a PK. And see the way my life is set up, my bishop was my friend on Facebook for a long, long, long time. And my thing always was, I'm already gay. Let me not push it because I'm already pushing it to the limit with the gayness. So let me not add to it by doing all the extra stuff.
Not you
let me
trying to
just
stay under
be
the
let
radar.
me be a good saint and stay under the radar past the gayness. Like I swear to God, that's how anybody who has ever
I
come across
just
me and
weird
asked me
though,
this
like, bro.
question, I swear to God, this is what I tell them. Like, listen, I'm already a gay black woman in America. I don't need any more bullseyes on me. So I am just going to chill out. Like I'm going to be chill. And so I have literally lived the last 15 years of my life like that. So I know that you guys would love to say, "I hope's a great business owner. She doesn't post all of that foolishness." It's because I'm scared of my mother in real life. Because minister don't play, and she will call my phone and be like, "Hey, okay, you're doing too much now. Hold on, your mama's still a minister. Don't be doing that now."
Yeah, but
So
you got us
me,
on there cussing on the behind the scenes.
I done
Not a
grew up a
beep,
lot. Okay, so let's talk about that.
not a beep in sight.
In 22, in the words, I bleeped it out. I don't know how to bleep the cuss words out. Yeah, I ain't that cold in editing, but it's coming though. Um, in 2025, I did make a conscious decision to not be so uptight and really just like on the first episode, like I said, let people really know the real hope. You get what I'm saying? Because when people get around me, they be scared to talk, they scared to cuss. I cuss like a
That's
sailor. You just might
crazy.
not know it because you don't know me in real life. But
Yeah, that's crazy. I think that's
you
so
know,
interesting. I still find that so interesting that and that's not for me like my intention. Let me just say that my intention is to not undermine your presence, but like you like what? You scared to talk in front of Hope? Like Hope talk to everybody. She goofy as all get out. We all, you know what I'm saying? But that's because I get to see a different version of you. So like when you keep saying this, I'm like, what? That is wild that people really feel like that. I'm like, Hopi, like, but hey, that's the beauty of, like just really understand that there are multiple layers to our loved ones. We don't see how our loved ones are in professional settings all the time. So like, I don't know why. I just always just like,
I just
it's
really had to learn how to compartmentalize a lot of things because, especially when I moved to Texas. Texas was a different beast for me.
Mhm.
I didn't have to be fake, but I definitely had to be a whole different version of me. You know how Detroit is, bro. You know they ain't raised us right down by the way. You might not know because you ain't never lived in the South, but that transition changed everything for me. Like from the way I look at family, from the way I move, like they just cut different in Texas. You feel me? Like they just move different, and it made me realize, like, okay, Hope, this is your time to shine, but you also got to learn like how you talk to this person can't be how you talk to that person, and how you move around these people, you can't move around these people like that. Especially when like one of my constituents came into my life, and he he different. You feel me? He's a man, but he's very, I don't want to say uppity because that's a bad word, but he carries himself with poise. That's the word I'm looking for. And but he hung around a whole bunch of rappers and stuff. And so I was like, bruh, like, what you doing? But it was and I could say this name, him and Marcus Bowers. Marcus Bowers and She's Happy Here. Like they changed my outlook on so much stuff because I will never forget this. I had one of my first bigger events ever in Detroit. And I went to She's Happy Here. He had just opened up a new location. And to make a long story short, we kicked it. He was like, I'll fly in, I'll be a speaker. He ended up being the keynote speaker. He flew himself in. The man walked in. I promise you, he had on a Walmart belt with some Walmart shoes, and he had a Walmart t-shirt, and he made more money than everybody in the room combined. Okay? And he walked in with so much swagger, and I'm that guy in his Walmart shoes. I said, oh, I want to be like him. I want to, because in Detroit, you know how it is. Jordans, the Gucci, the Prada. That's what we live by. The Cardis. Like we really flashy. So being able to see that and realize, like, oh wait, he's already a millionaire. The boy had been to China, Japan, and all kind of places. And he listen, we had a parking spot reserved for him in the front. When he walked in, I was so confused. I said, well, where did you park? There's no parking. Like, we have a spot for it. He's like, park. I just Ubered. I don't rent cars. Like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. And he looking at me and I'm looking at him and him. I don't even know what you're talking about right now. Like, all the business people that I know in Detroit, they pulling up in Range Rovers and put up in a Toyota car.
Yeah.
He didn't even get Uber Black. And you feel me? Like, it just Uber Black might not have been a thing back then, but you get what I'm saying though. Like, he was I'm going to get my money, I'm going to give back to my community, and I'm going to keep it moving. I don't care what people think. And so all of those things made me decide earlier in 2025, like, it's okay to be me and be okay with it and just be me. Like, there's still some things that you won't see me do on social media, but even changed as far as, like, one of my major companies that we market is a dispensary. Before, I would have been so conflicted. I would have been like, oh, what is God going to think? What is my mom going to think? You know what I'm saying? But now it's just like, long as that check clear, I don't have to do anything to compromise my beliefs or my feelings. It's not compromising my company's morals or values. It's just another company that I'm marketing. Whereas I'm telling you, before, let this been 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been calling my mom like, I don't know if I should do this. It's not like the Lord, even though we come from the ground that the Lord gave us. And, it would have been a bad situation. So that's why the main reason why I opted to post that specific clip, because it showed me in a raw, just being me moment. And I feel like in 2025, the people kind of really need to see that about me. I think it's the disconnect between my company. We've never been viral. We've never, because I feel like it's because people don't get to see me. You get what I'm saying? So that's why it was important for me. And that's why I chose that clip to post, because we was raw, we was unfiltered. I'm sure people around you don't know you to be a cusser. You see you cussing like a tailor. You feel me? So I wanted to show people the raw, uncut version. Like, listen, when you come, because the thing is, people will come to our fashion shows and be expecting one thing and then get a totally different experience in their mind and be like, we had two models, like, they wanted to walk stiff and straight. And I'm like, bro, have fun, like, loosen up, cut a rug down the runway or something. And then mama had to pull me to the side, like, they're not used to that. And when we signed up for this show, that's not what we thought we would sign up for. When we heard about the show, we heard that it was excellence, it was this, it was that. I'm like, yeah, but you know why they feel that way? Because I let kids be kids. Like, all that extra stuff. This ain't that type of show. Like, I want kids to be themselves, but still walk in excellence as they do it. You get what I'm saying? Still be able to teach them, like, the entrepreneurship and all the different classes that we give them. But I want them to still ultimately be a kid. You get what I'm saying? And so all those things made me realize, like, I let my spirituality at a young age kind of mold me and define me and really make me be a lot of reserve that I don't have to be. And so in 2025, turning 33, you just realize, like, they love me behind closed doors. So I might as well just be myself all the time. You get what I'm saying? So that's why.
Yeah. I would say, like, for me, very interesting enough, I didn't grow up in a church. I didn't grow, like, we was going to church maybe on Easter. I don't even know Mother's Day, because that's
a terrible experience. Look, if your only experience as a kid is on a holiday, I feel sorry for you.
I didn't grow up in a religious household. Now, did I know there was a God? Yes, but I didn't really have a relationship with God the way that I have one now today. I could honestly say, like, your sister Nikki was probably the biggest example for me of someone who had a relationship with God.
I think she was the biggest example for everybody starting off.
Yeah, but it was just very interesting because now thinking back on some of the conversations that I heard, you know what I'm saying? Like it was out of pure ignorance because you know what I'm saying, like we know that Nikki she has discernment and she was moving, you know, a different way because God is the head of her life, you know what I'm saying? And so I never really understood that because of course of the age difference, but as I got older, I did start to seek my own relationship with God. And knowing the relationship, my own personal relationship that I have with God, like I pray over everything. I pray over everything. I am very big on showing gratitude. Anytime I make a very big decision, oh baby, I'm praying. Because the thing is, I know that I can't do it by myself. I know that I'm not humanly able to withhold everything that happens, you know, like to me. Like I really do feel protected, but that's just, you know, my experience. But I would honestly say, like, from, you know, I don't know if I shared this with you, but I had filed my own trademark for one of my companies. And so like I remember just before I hit the submit button on anything, I'm praying over. I'm like, Lord, I
Yeah,
hope this
let everything be right, Jesus. I don't want to
yes,
have to do
you know what I'm saying? Like I pray over I pray over all of my business decisions. I pray over even my personal decisions, whether whether I'm dating somebody or if I have a new milestone. Like when I was leaving corporate, I prayed over that. Like I pray leading up to decisions, you know. I literally pray every day. But also I had to learn how to surrender every day. That is the phase that I'm in right now, which is, hey, you need to surrender on a daily. You need to like, you know, die to your ego and your thoughts and like really let God do his thing. You need to make room for God and not like allow yourself to take over every situation because the truth is ain't none of us in control. For real, for real. Like we can control our actions, but anything outside of that, we won't have control over. So, excuse me, I will say my spirituality definitely has helped me. It gives me comfort in anything that I do. Again, no matter the topic, no matter whatever sector of my life, like I'm not leaving him out of my life because I feel like it's been so many times where if I did something without, you know, bringing my spirituality into it, I could feel the difference. You
right.
know, just me and my experience, and I just be like, yeah, no, that wasn't, or even just my behaviors. Like some things I do don't be godlike, okay? You know, whether it's cussing or whatever it is. And of course,
I'm
I know.
pretty sure that God cussed out a few disciples before.
Listen,
Don't I'm just saying.
I ain't going into that because listen, I'm not a real big biblical girl. Like I'm not going to no scriptures to argue with you back and forth. I got my own personal relationship. I don't know. All I know is I try to have as much of a godly personality. I like to give. I had to really learn how to accept that I was a good person, which is really weird, but
No, it's not the way you think it is. Like that's the thing. That's the
that's it.
thing.
It's but that was that's
Like you really have to learn your worth because and people be thinking they know their worth, but you really don't. Because that was something that I had to learn and work on and perfect because I had to remind myself what I come to the table with, from business to personal to relationship. Like
Mhm.
friendships, girlfriends, whatever. Like I bring
Mhm.
a lot to the table, and it took me a long time to be able to say that. Like, no hope. You bring a table, some chairs, the couch, the love seat, the carpet,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
tiles and washcloth. Like you really gotta hype yourself up. Like I wasn't big on when I think we talked about this in the first episode too. Just
Mhm.
not big on celebrating myself.
Like celebration.
And that's a part of celebrating yourself is understanding your worth. And once you do that, boy,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I absolutely, again, I know we weren't going to spend too much time on it with just faith and spirituality, but literally, I don't know who I would be without prayer. I don't know who I would be without a stronger relationship. because I am a Christian, and I don't knock anybody that have, different beliefs, because listen, we all got our journeys, and it ain't my place to judge you. Like, I think
And even
I'm
if you
very
don't believe in God, bro, you have your own relationship with whoever you believe in. You pray to
if
whoever
you
you
believe
believe.
it,
It's
like,
all the
yeah,
same. It's just it might be a different God, but ultimately we should all be able to agree on we need a higher calling to be able to depend on and lean on and yearn from. And you know what I'm saying? Like at the end
yeah,
of the day, that should be universal. So
yeah.
yeah, for sure. But
When
again,
you, we, oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I forgot. Nah, you know how that
My bad.
feels.
I was about to rap. I wasn't even about to say nothing. That's why I'm saying. That's what I was like, go ahead.
Yep, that thought left. You next. What'd
Well,
you
that's
say?
God to look. That's God telling us to move to the next segment. It's like, no. But listen, we're gonna do that after this commercial break. We'll be right back, y'all.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord, it's good.
So good.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's a 10. That's a 10? Okay. Good flavor.
They're $5.
Yeah, awesome job.
Still good.
Still good.
What's up, y'all? We are back. What is are they over there? What's up, y'all? We back. We are going to talk about our last segment, which is money mindset, shifting from employee to employer. So I will say, I guess for starters, that's very tough. And again, that's because I'm in transition period versus Hope. Her experience has been a lot different, but
Still tough.
say with being, well, I'm not even an employer. I guess I'm, with me being an entrepreneur, I have contracts. And with that, everybody's billing system is not the same as corporate. Like, for example, you may have somebody, you have a company you have a contract with, and they may pay once a month, versus when you're in corporate, you can either get paid every week or every other week. So that's what I've actually learned. I mean, and I will say that if you already have your bills organized and you already know what to pay, it really, you just have to learn how to be a little bit more proactive when it comes to the money coming in, right? Because you might need to pay in advance, or you need to move your payment date or something like that. But I honestly, I haven't really noticed a difference yet from my perspective, but I do know that it is more of a, if you don't hunt, you ain't eating kind of thing. And I will say that I am getting more into that hunter mindset, because before, I will say, I was more comfortable as an employee, where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is my paycheck. I'm salary, boom, boom, boom. I know I'm getting paid. Versus, when you are an employer or entrepreneur, you literally clock those hours of what you work, and you better hope that you're getting paid your value. So I will say, like, definitely that money mindset. Again, I am still going through that transition phase where I'm still learning, and as we all are, but I haven't really noticed too much of a shift just yet. But I do know that there are some changes that need to be made. Like, I want to do more. I want to have more, be more, make more. And it's just, now it's like, well, what do I do in this space? Because before, again, when you're in corporate, you can try to get a new position that may be available. You may be able to jump on a project and just be like, hey guys, I'm going to help you out, and you can learn more and all of that. But like, when you are an employer or entrepreneur, you can't jump in like that and kind of make them changes. But that's what I would say for my end of this topic. Oh, Lord. What is with that?
Look, I can go on and on this topic, but I know we got to wrap this episode up. So I'm gonna say this: being an employee, you have worries, you have concerns, you have things that you have to deal with in real time for sure.
Mhm.
But it is nothing like being responsible for families eating,
Mm,
families paying their rent, their car notes, their car insurance. Because when you don't do what you're supposed to do as an employer, now
mhm,
you have a trickle down effect of people who can't do what they need to do as your employee, as a mom, as a dad, as a sibling, as an auntie, as an uncle. It just affects so many people.
mhm,
So the mindset shift is crazy, okay? And you don't actually feel the shift until you employ your first employee.
mm,
Because before that, yes, you have to get out the mud, and yes, you might work some hours that you're not going to get paid for in your company, but ultimately, you know it's yours,
mhm.
so you don't have those type of worries. Just like, okay, today I didn't make as much as I should have, but tomorrow I'll bounce back. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm, mhm,
Yes, my rent was due on the first. I paid it on the second. Life goes on. You get what I'm saying? Whereas, for example,
mhm,
let's just
mhm.
say, you have a bad quarter as a company, and now you're in the black, or the shift is not going to come until you employ your first employee. That's just what it comes down to, because you now have those worries. You have those, you know what I'm saying? If I don't do what I'm supposed to do, then A, B, C, D, E, F, G won't be able to do what they supposed to. Like it just it's different. It's ultimately, think about it like this. And line cook and chef. You get what I'm saying? The chef just ultimately has more responsibilities than you as a line cook, and that's why he makes the most money. You get what I'm saying? Just
Mhm.
to put it into simpler terms. But ultimately, I think that you have to have good people around you. You have to have smarter people around you, and you have to have people who've already been where you're trying to get to around you. Without those things, the shift is going to be super hard, but not impossible, just super hard. But I think that the most important part that people should take from this is the shift starts with you. Like, it's a mindset thing, and it's hard for us as humans to change our thinking. That's the hardest thing. That's why it's hard for us to get up and go to the gym. It's hard. You know what I'm saying? Once you've gotten to a routine of things, it's just hard. And so, as an entrepreneur, like I stated earlier, we get into that mode where we only think about ourselves, only care about ourselves. And so, when you have to make that shift to now, oh, like for instance, I got 20 people working my street team right now. Every day is a new experience because 5 people might not be in a good mood today. Do I match their energy, or do I meet them where they at, or do I be like, you know what? As an employer, I've been an employee before. I know what it's like to have a bad day and still have to go to work and deal with
Mhm.
people. So let me try to cushion the blow. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you'll
So
start thinking differently about everything that you do once you make the shift.
what would you say is one or two action items that you had to take to shift from employee to employer or entrepreneur?
I had to check my attitude and I had to check my ego.
And how did you do that?
Ego. You ultimately it starts with doing the work. I would suggest having accountability partners, maybe even doing therapy, because you got to figure out you first. You got to figure out what your triggers are. Like, one thing I really worked on is figuring out what my triggers were, and I know people only really equate that to like when you're in a relationship, but no, you got to do that in your whole life. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
when girls were used to ask me like what triggers you, I used to be like, nothing, I'm good. Like, I get upset like the next person, but ultimately, I'm good. Now today, if you ask me what my triggers, I can list them off to you. Like, listen, when you do this, it's going to cause me to react like that. I know because I've done this before. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately,
Mhm.
it's about really diving deep and
Mhm.
having those hard conversations with yourself,
Mhm.
and also acknowledging your flaws and what you're not good at, because we all think that we're perfect and we're good at everything, but we're not. So
Sure.
once you acknowledge that you have flaws, like, what it was for me, I used to get so frustrated when my employees would mess up material. And
Mhm.
then one day I just sat down, I'm like, Hope, you mess up material. Like, what do you're the expert and you be messing up. So how are
Mhm.
you gonna get mad at people who are not the expert?
Ooh, check
And
yourself.
once I had that hard conversation with myself,
Mm-hmm.
it made me be more soft and more approachable to my employees, where it was like now people want to come work for me because I know that mistakes happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of business.
Mm-hmm.
And you hollering and screaming at your employees does not make for a good workspace for them. It doesn't make one good for a good workspace for you. And ultimately nothing gets done in that space. So having hard conversations with yourself is definitely a part of making that transition from employee to employer. Um, and then just learning to meet people where they at. Again, we talked about this in the first episode. I don't like everybody. I don't get along with everybody. But through business and through personal relationships and dating, I've learned just to meet people where they at and to set people for who they are, flaws and all. No matter how frustrated you get, some things about people just never going to change. And you have to learn to accept that. Once you can accept that this is who this person is, this is how they was raised, this is what they believe, and there will be some changes, but they ultimately have to come from that person. Like you can't make a person change. You'll be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hope, thank you for those gems. Listen, I'm listening. I'm conjuring up some stuff in my own mind. This was
I'm
a
conjuring.
great conversation. But yeah, so we talked about the generational differences in hustle culture, the role of faith and spirituality in business decisions, and last but not least, we touched on the money mindset when shifting from an employee to an employer or entrepreneur. So that wraps up episode 3. I loved it. I loved it. Hope, do
When
you
we
have
get to episode 10, I'm going crazy. I just want y'all to know I might give something away. You just never know. Stay
do
tuned.
you do you have any final words before we wrap this up, cuz?
My final words today is get mine. No, I'm just playing. No, but y'all already know how we living. Last episode we got 2% better. This episode we gonna then the next episode we're gonna get 3% better. At the end of the day, as long as we're getting better, that's all that matters. Don't let nobody tell you that you got to get 20, 30, 40, 50% better overnight. It just does not happen that way. So take your small accomplishments and turn them into your big goals.
Yeah. And I would say I want to leave somebody with the last words of, just because you didn't see something done before in your past or growing up doesn't mean that it's not possible. I will say that even if you got the vision, if you had the vision, that is all that matters. And you're going to find the right people along the way to help you bring that vision to light and to actually execute on that. Because I think many times, like we talked about earlier, is we didn't really see a lot of people in the entrepreneurship space growing up. However, yet we are here. But that's because we have belief in our vision, and we have a plan for ourselves. And we've been able to luckily have people to come into our lives to help us along the way. So I would just say continue to have faith, continue to believe in yourself, and just know that just because somebody else don't see it don't mean that it won't happen for you. So that's what I want to leave with.
She always want to. I can't wait to grow up and be like her, because what her words of encouragement be way. I'm a chat GPT so for the next
You
episode.
just tell people to be better. You just tell people to be better, bro.
They're gonna be like, Hope be giving the same answers at every time. Dominique be coming with wisdom and grace, and Hope just half. Full job. And as Aunt Shannon would say, look,
that bullshit, bro. Get up.
we love y'all cousins, man. We'll see y'all next time. Episode 4 coming soon, but episode 2 just dropped, so make sure y'all go watch that. We love y'all. We couldn't do this without y'all.
Wait, and make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to
all of that.
Okay, don't forget.
Cel'Sha TV right now. Subscribe. You heard it here first on Cousins.
All right, bye, y'all.